I'm Grada Robertson with you at the Miracle FM tonight. I want to help you to feel a little bit easier in yourself, and I'm going to explain about the four mind traps that we commonly do. Anyway, I hope you can all hear me because I'm still getting used to my new little camera device. So just send me a hands up if you can see me, anyone, or if you can hear me. That would be good. So I want to talk about four mind traps that can reduce the quality of your life and really cause you a lot of stress. And so first of all, I want to remind you again that you are a divine instrument for the universe. The universe wants to always come through you and create something wonderful out of your life, through your life. In the same way, for instance, that you play guitar and you create music from the guitar and so on. So you're a divine instrument. This is a reminder for you that you remember that again. And sometimes you just need a little bit of a tune-up. And tonight can be one of those little tune-ups. So mind trap number one, and just notice if you can relate to any of these things, if your mind does this. When I'm talking about your mind, I'm really talking about your monkey mind, your ego mind, your separate mind, it's also called, your psychological constructs, the way you think and the way you process your thoughts and so on. So mind trap number one is that a brilliant idea comes through, or you get an intuitive hunch, or a divine hunch, you could say, or something from the universe is hitting you in the face, you could say, and you are shutting it down because your monkey mind is claiming ownership of it. And so you are turning it into a human construct. Now, how do you know that this happens? Well, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. Every time you get like a divine hunch, like something is coming through from the divine, from the universe, from infinite consciousness, and it can be something like, it can be like a warning, like end that relationship, or start a business, or move to a different country, or finish your studies, or create a painting, I'll just mention something, or go on a different diet, or go on a fast. You will know if it's from the divine because you feel a positive feeling. It gives you a sense of expansion. And then what happens is the mind trap happens when the mind jumps onto that idea and starts over processing it and starts, thinking about it and all the pros and cons, and suddenly it doesn't feel so good anymore. It doesn't actually make any sense, and then you start to look around you and nobody else is doing it, and it's now well and truly caught in the mind trap. So the divine concept is caught up in the mind trap. And now it's being reduced to like a human concept, and actually usually it just ends up in the dustbin, right? So nothing comes of it. So this is mind trap number one, and I'm just doing this for fun, so you recognize what could possibly go on in your life, so that you can change it, right? Mind trap number two is that the divine gives you an inspiration, and it can be something like have a baby, here we go again, something else, and your mind says, well, that wasn't from God or from the universe, because I'm a separate being, like the universe isn't interested in me. Well, actually 80% of the world population believes the universe is not interested in them at all. It thinks the universe is completely indifferent to them. It doesn't care if you're hungry or if you're not happy and so on. But actually that's not the truth. The truth is you are the universe, you are important, and the universe created you, and the universe has a very, very a keen interest in you, like absolutely from second to second, you are never not connected to the universe, right? And so the universe will be giving you ideas all the time. And when you follow those ideas, that usually means you have to take a little bit of a risk. It's going to create fulfillment and joy. So joy is always connected to your soul purpose, and your soul purpose, of course, comes from the divine energy. So another mind trap is not giving something enough time. So I see this in my community a lot, where people get an idea, or I might tell them something, and then sometimes, and I've got myself doing this as well, I think, oh yeah, I've done that already, or when did I do that last time, and what happened, and so on. And I actually don't give that idea or the intuitive idea or vision or whatever enough time. I don't sit with it. So that's another mind trip. The mind just goes into comparison. What happened last time I did it? I think I've already done it before, and so it just stays up here, and we don't make it available to drop into the cells of our body. If we want to transform, we have to allow, an unction from God or an inspiration from the universe to literally drop into the cells of our body. And so the chemistry in our cells changes. And that's then a lasting positive change for us. But the mind, the monkey mind, or even the intuitive mind can also still be guilty of this. Is very quick to dismiss it. So it just goes, I've done that already, or I've been there and done that, or that didn't work out so well for me last time. But if this happens again, if this is you, just allow yourself, give yourself another chance, and just make yourself available to something that catches your attention, right? God is trying to catch your attention, or the universe, and just sit with it. Allow it to drop into your head. So the mind has all these different traps, because the mind likes to be the boss. It doesn't like to be the servant. But God created our mind to be our servant, not the master, because our mind needs to be the master to the divine essence, your divine nature, right? So there is part of you, of course, as you know, that goes on after you die. Your what do you call it, atemporal self, the constant part, the part of you that your spirit self that's having a human experience. Your mind, your rational mind, needs to be the servant to that. And if that's the case, you have a good life. But with most of us, it's the opposite. It's like your monkey mind, your ego mind, is we are slaves to it. And it kind of entraps everything and sucks the joy out of life. So this is, I think I'm up to mind trap number 3 or 4. I've lost count, because I can never follow a recipe. Okay, I wrote them all down. But anyway, so mind trap number 3 is one of my favorite ones to tell you about, and it's called spiritual bypass. So how does that go? Let me see. Spiritual bypass is like you get an intuitive nudge, or that God is catching your attention again, or something is coming through, an idea, or that's right. So an intention, and then suddenly you get a bit of a yucky feeling that wakes up in you, like maybe a bit of frustration or anger, or a pain. It's usually a pain, like maybe a failure from the past. And spiritual bypass is that you pretend that feeling isn't there, and so you go around it, and then you pretend that you're arriving here. So let's say you're here somewhere, right? And the divine inspiration is telling you, you better move here, your life will be better. But in order for you to get there, you have to work through some stuff, right? Through some issues, because it's all about uplifting yourself. That's what the universe wants us to do. But instead of looking at your issues, you just put him to sleep or you push him under and you bypass it and you end up here. And so, for instance, I'll just use an example. Okay, I'll use the word God. God is catching your attention, telling you to do something, and you pretend you go about doing it. But let's say it's making you feel real angry or negative. And instead of sitting with those feelings, it's a bit like mind trap number 2. You actually squash them down, or you rush through them, or you pretend they're not there. And maybe you buy a bunch of flowers, or you create a flower arrangement for your garden. You do something positive because you're so evolved, right? We do that sometimes. We think, oh, I shouldn't be having all those negative thoughts, or I'm past that, and so you pretend all that stuff doesn't matter, and you do some nice cooking, or you have a glass of wine and Netflix. You do something to make you feel better, or to create a peaceful atmosphere, but it's still all festering underneath. So that's called spiritual bypass. And of course, I see that a lot in my community as well, right? Because it's just, and I've done it myself too, till I woke up to it. I was taught it by my coaches, years ago, that sometimes I was doing that. It was one of my blind spots. And I remember my father, he had something going like that as well. This is like a classic example. So my father had his own business, and he was also very religious. To him, God was everything, family second, and his business came third. And so my father didn't like to look at his bookkeeping. He was terrible with his bookkeeping. So what would often happen is that the business would be chuffing along, and on the outside, my father behaved like a good, outstanding citizen, good man in the church, and he believed like money, I guess he kind of had this belief that money wasn't godly or whatever, so it didn't matter if he didn't look at his bills. So sometimes it would take a whole year, and then all his drawers would be full of books and bills that he hadn't looked at. And this is how my dad did a kind of a boom and bust financial situation, but it was actually a spiritual bypass because he didn't like to do that kind of work. And then he justified it by pretending that money was from the devil anyway, right? But when you're in business, it's about the business is about making money, and about you growing while you do all that. So he wasn't congruent there. So these are some examples. And then mind trip number 4, this is another really interesting one. So this is that meditation. And so meditation, of course, is really, really good, and I do it myself every day. I love meditation. But meditation is not going to give you the quantum leap in evolution or consciousness that you're longing for. So sometimes this is another mind trap. So why do we meditate? Really to calm our mind, to discipline our mind, to control our mind, to tidy up our mind and body, to create focus and all the rest. But we are doing all of this so something else can come in through us, like the divine consciousness, the divine energy can then come in through us, right? Can wake up something in us that's not really us, it's not our mind. And so literally our mind, in a sense, has to die for those moments, has to, in other words, go into such a deeply relaxed state, take the back seat, so that this other thing, which is the divine consciousness or infinite consciousness, can come through us and use us as an instrument and create something beautiful or experience itself through us. That's why we do meditation. But I see again in my community that people use meditation as the be-all and end-all, as the end game. And I'm here to tell you, it's not the end game. It's like, what do? You soften the dirt. So like if you have a garden, you pull out all the weeds and and you use mulch and stuff and organic fertilizer, and that's like tilling the soil and preparing the soil. That's like meditation. And then a little seed, you put seeds in it, and that would be like God's energy or the energy of the universe that can literally come through you and create something with you, so you become a co-creator. So these are the 4 mind traps, and I'll put them in a little piece of paper. I mean, I've got them on my paper. I'll put them above the video because I would like you to see if you relate to any of those 4 mind traps. And if you do, then I want you to do this little practice with me, how we're going to finish now, because I've already spent 20 minutes. So I just want a couple of minutes. This is something I do to create peacefulness and harmony in my body, right? And I've said this before, what you resist persists. So that's another really good one to remember. So our ego mind, the one that I've just been telling you, does all these tricks, and it's an illusion. Every part of our mind is to do with an illusion reality. So whatever it's telling you is actually not real, right? It's always telling you lies, pretty much. It's good to know that you can never believe your mind, right? But even with me telling you that, you still need to love your ego mind. You still need to love your rational mind, because it's given to you so that you can have a personal experience today as a human being, like you're a spirit having a human being. So I'm a spirit having a Grada experience, and it's my ego mind that's allowing me to have that experience, right? So I read many books, and I hear from other people what they do. They squash their ego, they put it in the freezer, they suppress it, they control it, they manage it, and I found that none of that worked for me. What works for me, if I just simply calm, go back into my body, retreat into my body, and I do this a lot at night as well when I'm lying awake, and I radiate love into my conscious mind. So it's my subconscious mind that's sending love to my conscious mind, and that really calms my conscious mind, and so then it doesn't play out all these funny mind traps. And even if my mind is playing traps and playing tricks on me, it can easily release its grip, right? And then so it starts to relax more and more, and then it's really easy for me to be a conduit for the divine. So the divine, the end game is the divine wants to wake up in you. It wants to wake up your healing powers, your creative powers, your powers to be abundant, to create a good life for yourself so that you can thrive, so you feel connected, so you feel safe and secure, so you have this inner confidence. And when my clients come to me as well on a one-on-one session, I usually I'm kind of like a little bit of a bridge. I help them to wake that up in themselves. So let's do a little practice together, and then I'll finish the session today. So I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes. Notice your breath. And your breath is simply happening for you. It's like your conscious mind is not telling your body that now you have to breathe in and out. It's happening. And just allow your mind to relax in the back of your head, behind your eyes. And send it compassion. Focus inward. Just bring your focus of your eyes inward into the chamber of your head. Your head is like a secret chamber. And it's where the 2 minds meet, right? In the back of your head, behind your eyes. Just notice your monkey mind, your ego mind, the mind that's comparing, that's searching and grasping and seeking. Just send it compassion. and love and appreciation, because it's just doing its job. That's how it was created, and it was created to just do that. And you're the master, and your monkey mind is like your servant. So just send it compassionate energy, appreciation, love and respect. And just notice how your body softens now, becomes peaceful. It's like all the different minds are lining up together. They all get with a program. And the program is to create a good life for you. Life where you can thrive and be fully expressed. Just notice how relaxed your body is now. Just for good measure, just check in with your monkey mind again, in the back of your head, behind your eyes. And again, send it some more love and appreciation. More love, more unconditional love. That's love without any strings attached. And appreciation and respect. And notice how calming that is. And it's like your mind doesn't even have to create traps or tricks. Maybe your mind can just, talk to you in a non-dominant, non-competitive, non-seeking, grasping way. And we can still take notice of it. So just take another deep breath. Just think about what you just heard from me, making yourself available. Become fully present to yourself. Just slow down. Take time to listen. Take time to really tune into a divine inspiration, a divine nudge, the consciousness of the universe, knowing that you're always supported, you're always connected. You're never not connected, even if you're not conscious of it. And so just take one more breath in and out. And then just open your eyes and you feel real calm and expanded. You feel more spacious in your body. That means fresh energy is flowing through you now. And now you can have a good week, right? And so I want to thank you for tuning in. And if you notice you're doing any of these things, well, now you know it. So it's really about getting to know yourself a little bit more and just have compassion for all the different parts of you that are working together for your greater good. And if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'm here to support you always. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a really good week, and I look forward to being with you again next Monday at 8 o'clock. Bye for now.